Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of We Should Have Recorded That with Phil and
Adam.
Hey, Adam, how are you doing?
I am doing well, thanks. How are you, Phil?
I'm doing okay. I was saying earlier, it's been a trying start to the week, but I think we're gonna make it. We're gonna make it through.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, well, you're facing some difficult circumstances, so, dear audience, send a prayer in Phil's direction, if you would.
yes, thank you. I appreciate that. Yes. So, as is our custom, if you are enjoying our conversations, please reach out to us. We really appreciate those that are engaging us and in the variety of ways. You can reach out to us through Instagram and Facebook by Wissert Wapa. You may also reach out to us on YouTube by the title of our podcast. We should have recorded that with Phil and Adam.
Phil, you're
Yes.
cracking up, and I can't figure out why.
I don't know. I just feel I'm like it's kind of like a weird energy. Like I feel kind of very low, but it's it's weird. I'm being weird right
Well, Phil, we have decided, since you're feeling low and I'm feeling tired, that today's topic is going to be a light, breezy,
Yes.
fun one. And
Yes.
that is, what are the things we want to do after the pandemic has ended?
Yeah. Yes.
So, Phil, what are you looking forward to most?
Man, so like some of the normal things or the things we used to do, like maybe like really being able to take the mask off.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like I agree with wearing them, but
Yeah,
that doesn't
right.
mean it's not uncomfortable, you know?
Right.
Yeah. So that's kind of the biggest thing. But what else? I think when I think about like being able to see family without
Yes.
concerns of
Yes.
them contracting the virus or like visiting, I think about being new here and not really getting to know my church community, the church
Mhm.
where I'm at. And so like being able to try to have those conversations. I've spent a year in South Florida and not really gotten to know many people
Yes.
because of that. What about you?
Oh, well, I have to ask you first, since you asked about since you talked about the masks. I totally agree. When the CDC says it's safe to do so, not beforehand, but whenever
Right.
they do, I'm going to have a ritual mask burning. I just, do you find yourself getting like winded at all when you're teaching?
Oh yes, all the time because
Yes.
because I'm like we just don't breathe well in those. We
Mm-hmm.
don't breathe. We're not conscious. Like I was telling somebody, what is it that I find myself doing? Not even, or just shallow breathing. I find myself just like breathing so shallow, and it's probably because when you inhale, the mouth is gonna, squeeze on your face.
Yes. Oh, I understand. I experienced the same thing. I like partly probably because I'm just like really out of shape right now, but also because there's the extra resistance in breathing. So if I'm
Right.
getting passionate, if I'm doing a lot of talking, I'm doing a lot of fast talking, I find myself getting winded, and and you're right about the breathing. I even when I'm conducting choirs, the chorale at the college, I because they cannot see me open my mouth for inhalation, I find myself
Right.
doing like really loud, audible breaths to
Oh,
make
wow.
up for it. I mean, it's horrible. It's a horrible
Yes.
conducting habit.
Yes.
But I'm like, okay, maybe not quite that bad, but every phrase I proceed with a. so that they can hear me breathing.
It was just to linger on this a little bit. I was the the university here, University of Miami. They had a concerto concert last night, and there was a flutist playing, and she had this mask on where she has the slit in it, and I mean, of course, she's playing from memory, but the mask had really become an appendage because during her breaks, you see her just fixing the mask, and like, because you have to adapt, right? If it's gonna be something unused, like it just becomes an appendage, and so it's just like, wow, watching that.
Yes, it's tough. Anyway, okay, now I'll answer your question. You asked what about me? Travel.
Yes.
For me, it is travel. Especially, and I feel a little bit more freedom to travel domestically now because I've been vaccinated. But there is no freedom to travel internationally.
Right.
And that I was supposed to take some amazing trips last summer. They were in the works. I was planning itineraries, and I did not get to take them. And I'm beginning to question whether I'll get to take them summer of 2021 either. But the moment that I am able to travel internationally again, I'm just very excited to do so, to see more of the world, to celebrate being done, being past the pandemic. Yeah. Even that Canadian border. I
right.
cannot wait to go back to Canada.
Could you cross the border for work?
If I were an essential employee.
Oh, okay. So
working they shut that down. So like only if I were a doctor or nurse working in a Canadian hospital.
Okay. Yeah. Wendy and I, we were married in January, and we decided we were going to kind of take our honeymoon during the summer, and of course that didn't happen. And so that's one of the things that really looking forward to doing, but of course we won't be able to do that maybe for another year or so, probably longer, I think, as we kind of saying like how when will the rest of the world, because we wanted to take an international trip to Africa.
Wow.
So and I think this was earlier on in the pandemic. I think South Africa at least was saying that they were going to be closed off until 2022. And so, maybe it'll be 2023.
Oh.
There we go.
Ooh, okay. No. This is supposed to be an encouraging episode. All right. So, that's by this summer, we're going to have everyone in the United States, every adult in the United States who wants a vaccine is supposed to have access. We're going to have enough doses by the end of May. So,
right.
Hopefully by the end of June, everyone who wants a vaccine will have one, and hopefully enough people will choose to get vaccinated that we do achieve herd immunity and the cases, bottom out. And then when our numbers are good, hopefully other countries will follow the science and say, all right, you formerly filthy Americans have cleaned up your act and will let you back in.
Hopefully that happens. Let me ask you this question. Do you find yourself, we were talking about community. Do you find that you appreciate community more? Or do you have, as you've kind of start to open yourself back up, do you feel more refreshed to be around people, or no?
Well, do I feel more refreshed to be around people?
Well,
yes.
I'm saying in community. Yes?
Yeah, I mean, yes, I am enjoying being around people very
Okay.
much. Um, but I'm not sure if I answered your question.
Well, yeah, I mean that was basically so my guess to elaborate a little more. Like, do you think you're enjoying it more than you did before because we were
Yes.
restricted?
Oh, yes. I think I absolutely am.
Mm-hmm.
I'm the past 2 weekends I've gone to New York City to see friends.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Like I'm vaccinated and I have the freedom to do that, and I haven't left the state of New York, which there are quarantine requirements if you return. So anyway, I've just been like social Sally the past 2 weekends. Like I miss people a lot. I've missed people a lot, and so I'm grateful that that is starting back up.
Mm-hmm.
And you too. I mean, you alluded to this at the beginning. You were brand new in a place
Mm-hmm.
with
Mm-hmm.
very limited community when we all got locked down. So, do you feel, Phil, like the growth of your community has been stunted?
Yeah, I mean, yes and no. I think like so like for in one way, I think I've appreciated the connections that I have made, because we were, it was like maybe especially in the early days of the pandemic, there was like maybe 7 to 10, if that, of us at church, and those were all people who were participating in some way,
Mm,
and
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
that we were either in the doing the music or doing the live stream, all those different things,
Right.
and so I was able to connect with those people, and so like in one sense appreciating the people that I have gotten to know, because of that. But then, yeah, also, you think about, man, because one of the people I've gotten to know is a gentleman who is old enough to be my dad,
Mm-hmm.
and that's nice. I mean, I'm glad to know him, but I would want to get to know somebody that's closer to my age.
Yes.
But
Yes. I
so that so
understand.
though those are the trade-offs that I'm kind of thinking about. So yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
but we have we've started back doing a Sunday school, and so one of the parts of that is kind of this social thing in between services, and so I really enjoyed having conversations with other young adults. Are we young? Are we still young adults?
You are. Ah! Oh, I wish I could say I was.
You're still a young adult. Still
No,
young.
36.
That's the
Asia
cutoff.
herself said I'm not young.
Oh, right. Now you're just an adult.
I'm just an adult. Not young, not middle aged, just
uh,
no adjective to describe me.
just an adult. Yeah. Other beyond travel, like what are some of the other things that you're looking forward to do?
I can't wait to make music again unencumbered by physical distancing and masking.
Mm-hmm.
I, it now okay, how would I say that? I'm very encouraged by what we've been able to do. I'm very grateful by what my teaching at a college that is fully in person has allowed us to make music in person, even though we're physically distant by 12 feet and masked at all times. But I cannot wait to learn music faster again. We're learning music slowly. Oh, um, I, whew. I just, I want to learn more music faster. More music because it's not a video concert, which
Right.
just by the nature of what it is, I think videoed concerts need to be shorter. They're not going to hold an audience's attention as well as an in-person concert. And then the slowness because of the hearing and spatial issues. And then the other thing, the masks just make diction a nightmare.
Yeah.
just It's just a bunch of mush. And we have to work so hard just for the basest level of intelligibility, and it's I can't wait to be able to understand my choir and what they're singing again.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. That I so with the at the school we not only am I teaching music, but we also do this thing called WIN, which is it basically, I forget what the acronym stands for, but it basically is enrichment and intervention for certain students. And so
Okay.
if a student is really excelling, then we can do small groups, and I will take those students and maybe take them a little further, and vice versa. So I'm working with the kindergartners, and we're doing phonetic um, reading, and so I'm trying to teaching them by sound, which is great. I love that. But
Yeah.
again, doing it in the mask is
Mm,
very tricky. It's very
yes.
difficult. So
Yes.
so yeah, I get that.
Yeah. So I would say for me, my big two. Well, yeah. Okay. Can I add a third?
Yeah, of course.
It's an obvious one, and you've already talked about it. But just seeing people without any fear, um, meeting new people without any fear. I am getting there already because I've been vaccinated. But some people in my social life are not vaccinated themselves and still have fear, and their science is unclear about whether I could be an asymptomatic carrier of
Right.
the virus as a vaccinated person. So I just as more of my friends get vaccinated, I'm excited to spend more time with them with no guilt associated with that. And then the big three for me: seeing friends, 1; travel, 2; making music unencumbered, 3.
Yeah, I want to say I look forward to being able to make more music as well. I guess I'm doing a lot of reflecting on what I do in the classroom, but pre COVID, we were doing just the way we would do rhythm. We would do the kind of some hand. I forget what this. I would just say patty caking, but it's some there's some term. Okay, maybe it's what doing that. I mean, like we can't do that. Like especially like their kids are kind of stuck at their desk, and so like it's just very restrictive. Like, and so like I look forward to being able to do that, and then like me making music myself. Like
Yes.
trying to find maybe people to make music with, and maybe even vocally, those type of
Yep.
things. So
Oh yeah, I know. I'm so excited for that. All of my guest conducting contracts for 2020, 2021, just poof, they all went away. So I am really looking forward for 2021, 2022 to getting back out there and making music in festival settings. And so, yeah, I think a bright future is on the horizon. Do you feel hopeful, Phil?
yeah, I do feel hopeful. I feel hopeful. To kind of think about something else, or to take it in another way, I think, I think the church. Is really a time for us to speak about the hope, and the hope we can have in Christ,
Yes.
and the the balm that Jesus is in these times, and then so I that makes me feel hopeful, and then I am really glad to see, um, like we've said this before, for all the flaws and the ways we would disagree with the Biden administration, just some solid leadership
Mm.
that makes me feel hopeful. What about you?
What makes me feel hopeful?
Yeah.
Um, yes, the vaccination effort makes me feel hopeful. This is the promise of the future, really. I mean, can I add a fourth thing to my
Yeah.
list?
You're not limited.
And because you're asking me what makes me feel hopeful. Well, what makes me feel hopeful is Jesus.
Yeah.
And so then I think of Jesus, I think, oh, there's a fourth thing I'm really looking forward to post-pandemic, and that is returning to full worship services, full liturgies with lots of congregational participation, lots of unmasked at the top of our lungs, singing,
Yeah.
Not being concerned if the service is an hour and a half long because then there are too many aerosols in the air. I am excited to return to worship, fuller expressions of worship in church.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, like I said, we're starting to experience that too, and I think for me, again, just like seeing the people, and I think I think it's part of what you're saying, and that because there are people that I have met, I've talked to over the phone, or I've gotten to know, but so like last two Sundays ago, so not this past Sunday, but the Sunday before last, we had this dinner on the ground, so we were outside, distanced and stuff like that. And one of the wife of a gentleman that I've talked to on the phone, and I've seen, in passing and or whatever, came up and introduced herself to me. And so to get to meet her was like, man, I'm really glad, I got to meet her because of course, like people see me because I'm up front, I'm playing, drums up front, but I don't know them.
Yes.
And they don't really know me, but they know my face.
They know of you, yes.
They know of me. So getting to, having those conversations, I'm thankful for.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
Glad to hear it.
Yeah. Do you have any more things you're looking forward to?
Nope. No, I feel satisfied in what I have expressed.
Great. Well, I guess we could go on to our last segments then.
All right, let's move on to final segments of this short and sweet episode. Phil, what is on your mind in terms of current events?
I have to say I'm still thinking about the voter access, I guess I can't think of another term right now, but voter suppression is what we're experiencing right now. I don't think the oral arguments have ended in the Supreme Court, but there's a case out of Arizona that they are hearing right now. And I want to say that it was last week, and you probably heard the same thing, where Barrett, she asked the attorney, why are you bringing this case? And he basically says, to limit people from voting, because if more people vote, we won't win elections.
Yes.
And so it is, man, I think just several years ago, I realized how recent we African Americans and minorities gained a full, was able to really realize voter access, and yet we're back. We're back
Yes.
here. We're here again. And of course, they won't be able to do it as blatantly, or as won't be able to disenfranchise so many people. But it's just that's troubling.
Yes, it really is. Yes. Really, win elections by suppressing the vote rather than winning elections by having the most compelling candidates with the most compelling policy ideas.
Right.
It is anti-democratic.
Yeah. I mean, like I think we need more people to not to not check their brains at the door, right? Because that's what they're doing. Because you say you're for policy and integrity and values, but you're really checking your brain at the door right now. Anyway,
Yes.
what's on your mind?
Well, I'm on a recommendation kick on our show, as you know. And, not that Giant Wassertwapah needs any competition, but I am going to give a shout out to my favorite podcasts.
All right.
Besides us, of course,
Right,
and surely our audience dwarves the audience of the podcasts I'm about to list. But I'm going to share with our audience what my daily podcasts are. The ones that I download every day and listen to when I'm walking the dog, when I'm working out, when I'm driving to work, when I'm driving home from work, when I'm walking the dog again, etc. And so I listen to podcasts when I'm in the shower too. I listen to a lot of podcasts. I need to be more comfortable with silence because I've just filled my time with so many podcasts. Anyway, so here are the ones I listen to every day. I listen to the ESV, English Standard Version, Daily Office Lectionary. That's the first podcast I listen to every morning. So that's scripture being read, and I love that podcast. The readings that line up with the lectionary from the Book of Common Prayer. Then I listen to Up First from NPR, daily news podcast. And then I listen to a podcast from ABC News called Start Here.
Okay.
I listen to The Daily from the New York Times. I listen to Consider This from NPR, which takes one story and unpackages it in about 15 minutes. And I listen to the NPR Politics podcast. So those are my daily podcasts that I listen to on nearly a daily basis. And there's my recommendation for the week.
Sounds good.
I like all of them very much.
Yeah. I think I've listened to all of them except for I've not listened to the ESV. I will have to check that out. The lectionary.
The Crossway, the publishers of the ESV, have a bunch of different podcasts that read scripture to you.
Okay.
So, you can choose what reading plan, in essence, you want to subscribe to as a podcast. So, yeah, I highly recommend. Just type in Crossway, CROSSWAY, into your podcast app and see all of the options that pop up.
Cool.
Yeah. What did you learn this week, Phil?
What did I learn? I appreciate your how do I say this? Why can't I think of the word?
This is gonna be good.
I'm trying to think of the right word. Just why can't I think of the verb or adjective I'm trying? I want to say I think I got it. Your relentlessness as a educator and a conductor. Because of you were sharing how audible you're trying to make your breath to help the choir. And I think that speaks to your relentlessness. Like, I'm gonna make you breathe.
Well, it used to work, Phil. I used to be able to show a breath that people breathed, and
Right.
now it doesn't always work because half of my face is covered. Yes.
Yeah.
I do not recommend my brand of relentlessness. It is, that that my students are hearing before every phrase is not good.
No, but yeah. I just appreciate that. I appreciate you. Like, this what I got to do. Like, we gotta figure it out. But good.
Yes.
What about you?
I learned. Well, I just not learned so much as like realized something that should have been obvious to me all along, and that is how new you were in South Florida when the pandemic shut everything down. And so I am empathizing with you, Phil.
Thank you.
It's a tough situation. And like, you need to, obviously you have, a beautiful wife and her family is nearby, but we all need more community than just our significant other. And so I would be praying that God's, as things open up and it becomes safe, God opens up avenues for genuine relationships in your community.
Thank you. I should say I've her brother, Wendy's brother Claude. Claude. We have gotten rather close during this time, and I'm thankful that we get along. I mean, I would hope that I wouldn't have had to worry about that, but we've become pretty good friends, and so I should say I'm thankful that my brother-in-law is pretty good, so I look forward to as we are able to be freer to spend more time and to do more things with them. So
that's awesome. I'm very happy to hear that.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Anything else for the good of the order, Phil?
No, I think that's it.
All right. Dear audience, remember, like, subscribe, share, comment, send us a voice memo. We love it all.
We do.
Yeah. All right. Well, then I will say bye for now.
Adios.